The Goldman Sachs Chairman and CEO David Solomon speaking to me yesterday. Let's talk to the government now. I'm delighted to be joined by the Home Office Minister, Seema Malhotra. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Why don't we just quickly get the reaction to that the Goldman Sachs CEO saying, London's position as a leading financial centre is fragile. He also said he was encouraged by some of the rhetoric coming from the Chancellor, but, quote, now we have to see the action steps taken and actually follow through. Is there a sense of urgency coming out of the Treasury, and do we need to see things move a bit more quickly?
There's been a sense of urgency coming out of the Treasury since we came into government last year, and that is because we saw the damage over 14 years, but most recently since the Liz Truss premiership, the damage that was done to our economy, to our reputation around the world, to the confidence of investors. And what I've seen while we've been in government, and I think what was on display with the Chancellor's Mansion House speech last week as well, is a government that is extremely and completely focused on how we rebuild our economy, but also how we work with the City of London, with our financial services, because this is a jewel in the crown for the UK. And I believe that with the Chancellor and with our government working in partnership once again with British industry, that we will see that confidence restored. We've already seen that in terms of increased confidence to invest and investment in infrastructure. That's absolutely critical because of what it also means for prosperity around the country.
He also said that incentives matter. If you create tax policy or incentives that push people away, you harm your economy and you don't drive revenue increases. Can the government rule out a wealth tax this autumn or not?
Well, I think what we've seen, and I would say this again if I refer to the Mansion House speech because that was just last week, is a government that is absolutely committed to seeing our professional services, financial services, other services, accounting, some of those really important, stable services that make Britain attractive to set up a business, to employ people, to actually see investment and planning for the long term. And some of that stability that we've seen since Labour came into power shouldn't be underestimated in terms of turning around what we saw, which was a decline in our economy across the country, and now looking to a more positive future. And that's what's really important, confidence in the UK and confidence in Britain around the world.
Tell me what you're announcing today from the Home Office.
We're announcing today new measures to tackle illegal working and to do that now in partnership with those in the gig economy, Deliveroo, Uber Eats, Just Eat. And the reason why is because as a result of the work we've been doing with the sector, also as a result of the over 10,000 unprecedented number of raids on illegal working, we've seen a growing problem where there's the sharing of accounts with people who do not have the right to work that is undermining honest businesses and exploiting vulnerable people. That's why it's really important that we get a grip on this, because we want to see an end to illegal working. And the new arrangement that we've announced, the agreement with those companies, will actually see us being able to share data around hotspots. That will enable those companies to also then take more action, to be able to detect faster where they see this happening. This is incredibly important because as part of our plans for change to rebuild Britain, it's really important that we take away from our communities those aspects of like illegal working that undermine confidence, but also undermine local people working, undermine honest businesses.
What's the punishment for those companies, Deliveroo, Uber Eats, Just Eat? Are they in part essentially going through this process with you, acknowledging that they've broken the law?
Well, what we also have seen is in working with these companies, they have already started to step up, but we know there's much more to do, and while we're strengthening the law.
So they've acknowledged they've broken the law?
Well, they've acknowledged absolutely that there is work to be done on this.
So what's their punishment?
And there could well be, and there have been actually over 700 businesses already fined this year, but there could be fines of up to £60,000 for those who are breaching
But Deliveroo,
the rules.
Just Eats, the other companies like this, they're big, deep-pocketed firms.
That's why
they've acknowledged they've broken the law, you're saying?
They have greater responsibility. So what we've announced is the civil penalties as well in terms of up to £60,000. But what is really significant here is the way we're stepping up our enforcement action, the way in which we're asking companies to step up as well. You know, it hasn't actually been mandatory before as well to do right-to-work checks for companies in the gig economy like Deliveroo. There is much more of that going on voluntarily. voluntarily now. And we are also changing the law to make that mandatory so that you must know and that you must know whether the people who are working for you are working legally. And that is really important. The other part of this, I want to just mention this, is that for those who give their accounts to others who have no right to work here, this is a really important change. And what we are saying, and what the message I want to get across, is that if you do this, you will be caught, because this undermines honest businesses. It undermines what customers believe in wanting better behaviour from the companies that are delivering goods to their homes, food to their homes. And we want to see that confidence in our local economy.
I mean, it sounds like when you're asking these big companies to step up, you're asking them to step up and stop breaking the law, which seems like an odd thing to be commending them about.
Well, actually, we're also changing the law to strengthen the law, and we are bringing in the civil penalties. But it is also important to say that since the start of, in the first 3 months of the year, that we saw over 700 companies fined for illegal working. Look, this is unprecedented in terms of the step up that we've seen.
Okay,
since
that's
last
fine.
July.
But if you're saying you're commending these companies for these big three companies to step up and working with you on this, have they broken the law?
Well, in terms of what we're trying to do, in terms of illegal working, I mean, illegal working speaks for itself. It's illegal working. And now it is the onus we want to be also much more on the companies where the law has not been strong enough as well to be able to detect this much more quickly. That's why the new agreement that we've announced, the agreement that the Home Office has reached with these companies, is the Home Office sharing data of where we believe there could be those hotspots, so that there is more information for those companies to be able to take those steps. We will be absolutely continuing to work with them, and there will be penalties for those companies, increased penalties, and for those who also share their accounts.
But no penalties yet for breaking the law.
Well, actually, I just mentioned over 700 companies in the first
But not these three, the big ones with deep pockets. Just switching focus, I know we're nearly out of time, on the other perspective about the workers. If someone comes here illegally and they then, once here, work illegally, and we can identify them, why aren't they just deported?
Well, what we have seen is that any breaking of the law, we need to be tougher on, and absolutely we're looking to strengthen the law. And there is a very strong question here about making sure that those who are here awaiting their asylum claims being processed must be abiding by the law, and we have no tolerance for criminality.
So what's their punishment?
And this is, well, it's a very good example. I mean, if you are breaking the law, then, you know, we want to see that you don't have the right to asylum, and we want to strengthen the law around criminality. But it is really important here that what we also do...
But what happens today if someone has arrived here illegally, they are working illegally, and we can identify them? What happens to them?
Yeah. So what is important is that we do take action. That is reported, and we do expect that the Home Office is informed by the contractors or others about what is happening. And this is important because this undermines it undermines the rule of law, as we know, but it is also the case that we want to see asylum backlogs come down, so that we are seeing asylum cases being processed much more quickly, very different to the scenario that we inherited from the last government, and that we also see the deportations of those who have no right to be here happening at scale. And in fact, we have seen that over 35,000 people have been deported with no right to be here since we came to power, and that has been an increase, a significant increase over what we've seen before.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Seema Malhotra, the Home Office Minister. Much appreciated.